All right, we're back again. Dry Scoop number 2 of 2026. What are we talking about today, Brian?
We're talking product. We're obviously owners.
I'm also an owner.
Tyler's. Congratulations, Tyler.
Thank you.
We talk a lot about fitness, nutrition, etc., but we don't just sit down and talk about the brand. And so we thought today we would talk about some products, clip it up, and give some talking points, but also give people an idea of kind of what we're about and how we go about formulating products. We're not going to talk about the entire catalog, but we do have our Unrivaled series here that I think kind of exemplifies what Tight Nutrition is all about.
I'd like to toot my horn because I'm the one who came up with the name for this series. So you're welcome. Marketing genius.
CMO.
That's right.
CMO.
Chief Medical Officer.
That's not what it stands for.
All right, so let's go through it. We might as well just start with the flagship product, the number one.
Start with the best.
Day one homie.
Yeah, KRE-EX. So here's what I see with pre-workouts, and Tyler, you've been in the industry for over a decade now. This is just with supplements in general. There's really good brands, really great formulas out there, and that's why the space is so competitive.
Yep.
However, there are a lot of underdosed shit out there. There's a lot of crap in the industry, and because companies are such good at marketing and branding, and if that's what you buy on and you're not aware of what correct dosing should look like, what dosing and sourcing should look like. We were talking this morning about vitamins, So if let's say I don't know anything about magnesium, but this product has magnesium in it. Well, I'm told I should take magnesium, so I'm getting magnesium. It says magnesium. Well, what if it's vastly underdosed? Okay, let's say you solve that equation. You say I'm going to get 200 milligrams of elemental value of magnesium. Well, then it goes into what's the source? Where is it from? Magnesium. So with elements, with minerals, you always see, or vitamins, you see as, right? Mm-hmm. Magnesium as. So you could be taking, the doc we were talking about this morning is like, you could be taking magnesium citrate and just give yourself diarrhea. You're taking magnesium, but that's not really what's going to help your musculature and those things you want, like a glycinate. I see a lot of multivitamins with magnesium oxide. Magnesium oxide is fine. You don't absorb it. Right. The absorption rate's in single digits. So that is kind of what we pride ourselves on here is making sure that if it's on the label, it is dosed correctly. We call it efficaciously dosed, efficiently dosed, and it's the right source. I think we're talking like pre-workouts. We'll get into KRE-EX a little bit. We don't have to get terribly into the weeds, but things like citrulline. There's citrulline straight if you're talking pump. So like very briefly, I think we've talked about this before. The reason you see citrulline in so many pre-workouts is citrulline orally taken is a precursor to arginine. Arginine is the amino acid that once it gets in the blood vessels, so it passes through the stomach cavity, absorbs in the small intestines where your body's supposed to absorb its nutrients, and then breaks down in the blood vessels to arginine. This whole process takes about 45 minutes. You need to take your pre-workout early if you want a good pump. But once it's arginine in the bloodstream, that breaks down to the gas nitric oxide, and that's what gives you an intravenous
vasodilator.
The vasodilator. That's kind of what's sought after. However, you need there's a dosing. There's a correct dosing. Right. And I use like Tylenol, for example. You could tell me I have a terrible headache. Okay, I say I have some Tylenol. You say, well, what's Tylenol? Well, it's a headache cure, Tyler. And I give you 5 milligrams of Tylenol, and you take it. You say, like, how's your headache? It's terrible still. Tylenol doesn't work. No. You took 5 milligrams. You needed 500 milligrams to cure your headache. Yep. See where I'm going? Mm-hmm. This is the supplement industry over and over and over. I know that people want to see citrulline on the label. I put it on the label. I put 200 milligrams. 200, and you say, like, oh, that didn't work. No, you need 6 grams, 6,000 milligrams, 6 grams of citrulline to be dosed correctly. Then it gets very tricky with people are going to be like, no, the layperson's ever going to buy supplements after listening to this. But then it goes to, Well, it's citrulline malate. Well, if it's citrulline malate, that means it's 1 part citrulline, 1 part malate. Malate's inert. You can have people tell you, oh, it's good for it's cheapening.
Well, it's just cutting what it can do.
Right. Sometimes it'll say 2 to 1. Okay, so now for every 2 parts I have citrulline, I have 1 part malate. But unless you have 9 grams, right? So now I have 6 grams of citrulline and 3 grams of malate. I'm still underdosed. So with the Unrivaled series, and that's just using citrulline as an example. I'll continue to use it. So we've established like 6 grams is the effective dose of citrulline to create a noticeable increase in nitric oxide in the bloodstream. KRE-EX has 10 grams, pure citrulline. Right. So it's overdosed. And then we did that all the way down the line in this formula with 5 patented, trademarked ingredients, so all proven to work. Yep. Better energy. It has a lot of nootropics in it, so for good cognitive focus, kind of not pep like just caffeine. It does have 300 milligrams of caffeine, but neuron generating, like you're sharp, you're quick, you're focused on what you're doing, your task at hand. Okay, that's important with a workout. Not just that your heart rate's up and you feel like you want to be moving, but also you can focus on the job you want to get done while you're there. What else we have in here? All this stuff. Really, what KRE-EX is like 5 products stacked into one. It's a 32 gram, 32 gram scoop of pre-workout. So you're looking at a protein weight scoop. Most protein scoops are going to be 30.
Yeah, take our isolate. It's 27 gram scoop.
27 gram scoop yielding 25 grams of protein. This is a 30, almost like I said, 32 grams of with flavor system included, raw materials in there. So it's absolutely loaded. You have S7, which is a patented nitric oxide from that vegetable greens and berry vegetable blend. I'm looking at stuff I forget that's in here. The histidine is awesome for vasodilation.
Well, like the fully dosed products are citrulline, beta-alanine, creatine, HMB, the efficacious doses, the ones that are studied, that you need the bare minimum of this to get any kind of effect from it.
Those are all in here overdose. Overdone, because they're of course they're like with creatine. There's a full dose of creatine in here, and that's going to vary person to person. And kind of what the goal and stuff is, but KRE-EX, for anyone wanting kind of all the bells and whistles with their workout, I always say, especially if your goal is to grow, you really want to grow, recover from a pre-workout, KRE-EX is the go-to. But if you want to get like amped up and super sharp and fired up for your workout, also KRE-EX. There's not a situation that I wouldn't recommend it. It has electrolytes in it. I mean, it's just, like I said, fully loaded is almost an understatement. It's overloaded.
Right. When I was selling this in stores, even back in the day, way before this formula, it's really a value pre-workout. You look at the price point and you might go, whoa, but when you realize that you're getting 5 products in one,
go buy all those products.
You're way over.
You get a couple $100 worth of products if you go buy all those. So the updates last year with the HEB, and just that's a really hard one to formulate, because it's like, well, how do you every time you come out with a new rendition, it has to be better than its predecessor. Right. How do you improve it? That's for better. It's a good thing because it pushes innovation and stuff. But customers always want to see a little facelift, a little what's new, what do you have? So it pushes us to kind of sit down at the drawing board and say, okay, how do we redo this? Right. The truth is, the industry, the science in the industry doesn't advance as fast as people want to see the market and stuff advance. But like I said, it keeps us on our toes. That one is still really the pinnacle of a pre-workout. What you can find a pre-workout now. That's why it's our best-selling product.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, let's stay on the pre-workout, and let's just bump over to Pump Unrivaled. This is my favorite pre-workout. It is essentially, the shortened version of it. I tell everybody that essentially that entire formula is in KRE-EX. Now there are some differentiators. There's no lion's mane in KRE-EX, but there is in Pump and the Cognata Q. I don't believe Cognata Q is in the KRE-EX.
And there's a different one. The Infinergy.
Yeah.
So I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so that's kind of the shortened version, because when you look at the nitric oxide complex, all that is in KRE-EX.
Right. And so the reason that's exactly
and
right.
beta-alanine.
pump is inside of KRE-EX, basically. The reason, so you pointed out that it has the Cognata Q and the, what is the other one? The lion's mane, is because this is our non-stim. So it has none of the stimulants, the creatine, the caffeine, Infinergy, that stuff that's in KRE-EX has been pulled out of pump, and the creatine has been pulled out of pump. The reason we pulled out the stimulants is because we wanted this really high effective pre-workout that you could take at night. So like, while I love KRE-EX, I rarely get a chance to take it because with my schedule currently, I'm working out in the evenings, usually 5 to 6 o'clock, and I don't want to take 300 milligrams of caffeine before I work out. Pump, I can get all the benefits, even the nootropic, we were talking about, even the focus benefits from it, but it's not going to hit my central nervous system and keep me awake. Not going to increase my heart rate, nothing like that. So I can take it, all the endurance factors, pump factors intact, even with a little extra nootropic boost from the lion's mane and Cognata Q. Cognata Q is a choline metabolite, bumps your dopamine levels up, you feel really good, but not going to keep you awake. So that is pump, and again, not just heavily dosed. Overdose. Your big, your world's strongest man, 400-pound guy is going to take this, and like, it's plenty of a dose for them. So for the average gym goer, you have enough to get you a great pump and then some.
Yeah. If you're somebody, when you're doing a chest day, arms day, you said you actually don't like to take pump on a back day, which I totally understand. But if you're somebody that chases a pump, highly recommend.
Yeah, the only reason I don't like tape, I really am working out hard, which I try to. Yeah. So I've this is kind of getting the weeds a bit. I said we wouldn't, but I have two different. So I train back twice a week. One time I go like heavy barbell, big heavy movements, and then I'll do a little smaller kind of a pump style workout. When I do my heavy movements, the reason I don't like having a ton of pump is, well, one, I'm gonna have a good pump anyway, just from lifting or leg day. I don't like taking on a pump on leg day.
Pump on leg day once and it hurt
because my low back gets pumped, and then I'm like trying to stretch and kind of loosen up between sets. And same if I'm training back, you're doing a lot of like bicep shortening. Well, I'm ready. My back's ready to go, but my arms, this sounds like they're really pumped. They're like, I can't flush the blood out. So my recovery, it takes longer to recover and get the blood out between sets. And by the end, my arms are so fucking pumped, I don't feel like training back anymore.
Right. Yeah.
Did you guys even open that?
Well, I came up with the unrivaled part, Luke. So lay off.
Just say what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Just say what it is.
Okay, moving on. This is our post-workout, intra-workout formula rebuild. Tell us a little bit about that.
I believe, I'm very prejudiced, but I believe rebuild is probably the most undervalued or what would you say?
Underappreciated?
Underappreciated, maybe. Something we have. I don't think people really understand. Maybe the formula, maybe partly all for art. We haven't done the marketing stuff, but there's huge marketing behind pre-workouts. Everybody wants to take a pre-workout, right? If I take a pre-workout, I'm gonna have this great workout because I'm amped up. I feel good. I have a good pump. This good endurance. However, the nutrients you are intaking during your workout, especially if you see yourself, whether you're not as a really hard workout person that you hit it really hard in the gym. Intra-workout nutrition becomes very important. I shouldn't even say the gym. This could be endurance athletes as well. Maybe even more important.
A few CrossFitters had their lives changed with rebuild. I mean, if you're doing high rocks, like you said, any type of endurance type functional fitness event, it's almost a no-brainer to have rebuild.
So talking that's a great point. Talking just the intra-workout benefits. Well, so what am I losing during my workout that I need to replace? So start there. Well, carbohydrates. Your body's burning energy. That energy is coming from glycogen stored inside the muscle cell. This has 25 grams of carbohydrates, both from dextrose and cluster dextrin, so a multi-source carbohydrate that's going to very quickly replenish those glycogen levels, but also it's not that it's blood sugars. You're going to keep your blood sugars stable and we'll get into kind of the insulin mimickers that help as well. So you don't have that crash, that bonk, as endurance athletes call it, that crash in workout where you go flat. Like if you're lifting, you kind of get flattened out because you burn up all your glycogen, and you have no more energy. You have this kind of flat muscle effect where if you have a lot of carbohydrates and you keep your blood sugar levels stable, you have better endurance, better pump throughout the workout. Also with that hydration, you lose electrolytes. So there's a full electrolyte complex inside of Rebuild to help keep those minerals up so you can keep your body hydrated. Should I go on?
Well, and then I was going to add the antioxidants.
Well, first, so with the carbohydrates, we put banana leaf and chromium. Isn't it chromium? Fenugreek, sorry.
Yeah, fenugreek.
Fenugreek and banana leaf, those are insulin mimickers. So what they do is they help shuttle glucose, so blood sugar. You're taking in carbohydrates. Your body first gets them into the bloodstream, but where it utilizes them is in muscle glycogen. So it helps shuttle those sugars inside the blood vessel into the muscle cell where they can be utilized as energy. Use blood sugars as energy too, but you want this stable. You don't want spikes. You don't want peaks and valleys. You want nice and stable blood sugar levels. So that's the reasons for the banana and the fenugreek in there. Fenugreek actually has some outside benefits as well. It's an adaptogen, can be beneficial for testosterone production. So you had mentioned the antioxidant complex. Working out, especially very intensely, breaking down muscle tissue, puts some oxidative stress on your body, so you can kind of start that recovery process early with some strong antioxidants. There, grapeseed extract. That's of course why people always say like wine is really good for you and good for your blood vessels. Stuff like it is, but so is grape juice. And if you don't want the sugars, you can do grapeseed extract. So bilberry, pomegranate, and then just a simple vitamin C. There's half a gram of vitamin C in there. We'll finish with the aminos, but the creatine. So this has another. If you're taking both these, you're getting 7.5 grams of creatine. We have 2.5 grams of creatine, which is the absorption of creatine's improved. I would say like timing on creatine's not really important, but if you want to split hairs, like okay, when's the timing? Post workout, intra workout, and take it with a carbohydrate. Carbohydrates act as a catalyst, and water follows sodium. So you're kind of pushing those creatine, all the goodies in here in the muscle cell by having some electrolytes in there. So this has both the creatine plus the things you'd want to transport it, the carbohydrates and electrolytes in there. Glutamine, it has fermented glutamine, a full 5 grams. That's we actually talked again with the doctor talked this morning. Endurance athletes, there's a lot of stomach gastric discomfort if you're high in endurance type athletes. So glutamine's a really good way to line the stomach. Kind of helps with boost immune system. Your immune system, your body can only focus on so much. Your immune system is going to take a hit. You could have put even the glutamine down with the kind of the antioxidant complex. Glutamine is not an antioxidant, but it does help boost the immune system like those do. And then taurine is in there. Taurine's a very good, it works for cellular metabolism. So getting good stuff in the muscle cell and getting rid of waste, but also part of that's the mechanism. Part of what it does, it kind of prevents that cramping. That not so much like, oh, I have a leg cramp, but that tightness we talked about from a pump. Taking taurine can help alleviate that type of tightness, so you can shorten the time in between sets. And then the essential amino acids. So the essential amino acids this is why like whey protein is so coveted, is because it has a really high. Any kind of animal proteins are high in essential amino acids. So these are amino acids that your body can't synthesize from other proteins. You have to get them from a dietary source. And then, like I mentioned, whey protein is very high in leucine. That's kind of the gold standard. That's
the proper switch to turn on muscle building.
Right. So that turns on leucine in particular. BCAAs are known to turn on protein synthesis, or mTOR. So this formula has 3 grams. Again, a huge dose of leucine, 8 total grams of EAAs. So while we didn't put a protein in here, you can say, well, we put as much amino acid content from that protein, and the nice thing is because it's broken up into free-form amino acids, it's very readily available. So your body can use those to construct new muscle tissue, or really what we're talking about in an intra workout is reduced muscle breakdown.
Right.
Your body's either going to get amino acids from skeletal muscle tissue while you work out, or from dietary intake that's then in your bloodstream. So you want to have a good source of amino acids, essential amino acids in there. Now you can eat proteins. I want to be truthful with our audience. If you're getting an adequate amount of protein in a day, you're also getting an adequate amount of EAAs.
Right.
But if you're training really hard, long time in between eating, and you're working out for a couple hours, again, endurance athletes I think of, you mentioned CrossFit athletes, you want to keep your amino acid levels up because you are going to deplete your bloodstream of amino acids. So if you can keep your essential amino acids up, you can kind of speed recovery, reduce muscle breakdown.
Yeah, the whole timing thing, post-workout window, it's not necessarily essential for protein to be within that window.
Right.
It's really carbohydrates. So the carbohydrates act as the shuttle for all the nutrients in there.
Yeah.
And when
When you say shuttle, I always think like, well, okay, so I'm taking carbohydrates. I know I need to recover after work. I want to refill those glycogen stores. So as that carbohydrate's being shuttled into my muscle cell to refill the energy levels, what am I putting in there to
what's going
here,
with it.
take this with you.
Yeah. Yep. Protein, it all comes down to just hitting the daily amount that you're required.
Pretty much.
So,
pretty much.
yeah, you're getting optimal fuel with the rebuild. So, this is our Unrivaled series. The reason we went with that name is because there aren't any other formulas on the market that are like these combination.
They're really not. It sounds like we're really braggadocious saying that, hey, there's nothing like, but in its category, I'm very confident saying there's nothing like it. And it's not that there's not good pre-workouts out there. There are, but turn the labels over, compare ingredient to ingredient, gram to gram, and it's not by mistake. We didn't happen upon this. Like that's the whole purpose of having the Unrivaled series, is to make it spend the money, kind of put your money where your mouth is. If you're going to call it Unrivaled, make sure that anyone who buys it or a store owner who's selling it can turn the label around and say, like, this is the best.
Yep. So there you go. There you have it, folks. Anything else you'd like to add?
I think your eyes are pretty.
Thank
It's
you.
Valentine's Day.
Appreciate it. I'll tell Brooke that later. Awesome. We're good to go. Get the Unrivaled series, people.
Get the Unrivaled series. Everybody's doing it.
Unrivaled Perform.